Experience Sports and Sports Betting Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Blondin. We are back for another week of betting action focused on the NFL, and we have Austin from Ajax. Welcome back, Austin from Ajax.
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it seems like you just can't get rid of you now, right?
3 weeks in a row. Let's go. It's a new streak.
All right. What's I know that did you brush up on your NFL? You talked about getting a little more into it. Would you say you're a little more into it this week?
You know what? I've been struggling to find the time to really follow. I've done a little bit of football podcasting this week following, but you're still gonna have to carry the show.
Well, just like always, right? So I got to carry the show bright and early here on a Saturday morning. Got the glasses on too early for put the contacts in, so going with the Google's kind of look here. And the Overrated Experience Sports and Sports Betting Podcast. If you haven't tuned in before, we welcome you across the world, across the region, across the city. And we talk sports betting and we focus on the NFL. Week 11, this is going to be the focus. We're kind of in between the sharp and square, kind of the, what do I call it, the squarp, where, yes, we utilize analytics, but a lot of this is based on emotion, feeling, and just like you, the normal Sunday couch, nacho eating sports bettor that's chasing, we got you. And you can follow the Overrated Experience at Overrated EXPER2. That's Overrated EXPER2 on X. And follow us on Instagram, Overrated Experience. We'd like to hear from you. Let us know that you're following us based on the podcast. So, there's this, we look back last week, week 10, and I sucked. I really sucked bad. My picks against the spread were almost a waste of time for people to listen to. I was 5 for 13. You were 8 for 13, did a better job than I did. Is there anything last Sunday or Monday that stood out to you? You shake your head that, oh my God, I can't believe I made that play. Or, wow, I'm a genius. I'm a goddamn genius. What were some of the things that stood out to you?
Well, one thing that I thought of, it's just kind of the way that we make our picks. We give you guys the spread and we give you guys the total. But truth be told, you also got to pay attention to the straight up wins we're kind of calling. For example, maybe you didn't have the best week, but that could have been salvaged if you took Miami. You said you kind of were feeling the upset, and I also said I was feeling the upset with the Saints. Those are going to pay you out more than 1-to-1. So it kind of could have evened us out last week if you were kind of more listening than straight up taking our picks. That's one thing I kind of wanted to mention. If you took the Dolphins and the Saints last week, I'm sure our picks would have had you at least even.
Yeah, like the Dolphins, I just had that feeling with the Bills. There's something off there about the Bills. So something going into Miami, that heat, they didn't look right. They didn't look like they were in that game at all. Miami had them the whole time, so I felt good about that. You had, obviously, the play. You felt adamant that the Saints could walk into Carolina and win that. I felt that the Carolina Panthers would stumble through and at least win that and come through with the victory, but no. The Saints owned the Panthers that game. Obviously, you made that pick. You felt very confident of it, and you felt money line confident, not even just taking the 5.5 points. What was it? Why did you feel that way?
Honestly, I think it's like a subconscious pattern. It's like sometimes there's just these teams that they'll step up in against the big teams, but they'll falter against the shitty ones. And with a team like the Panthers, it seems like it's something that always happens. And I didn't necessarily think it was a sure thing, but I thought the line was definitely extremely skewed.
Yeah, and for the Panthers, it took me a long time this season to believe that are they really going to be hanging around for the playoffs? And they go and do this. They go and lose to New Orleans.
To me, a couple of years ago, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, they were considered the worst team in football. But right now, they have made leaps. I would say they're a 500 team. That's really what they are. Maybe they can step up in some big moments, but they're not a playoff team.
So Bryce Young, quarterback for the Carolina Panthers, is heading in after this season. They have the opportunity to extend him, given those big contracts they usually give rookie quarterbacks out of their rookie contract. So what the idea is, if everybody doesn't know, is they could guarantee the 5th year, or they could not. They could say that we're not guaranteeing the 5th year, and they have an opportunity to sign him to an extension. Would you, as a Carolina organization, back up the Brinks truck, sign Bryce Young to a long-term contract, or would you sorry, this is awkward, but we're not going to be picking up your 5th year, and we're not going to be negotiating a long-term contract? How would you play that out in Carolina?
You know what? I definitely would be cautious about overpaying this guy. If you could get a deal on this guy because of his struggles that he's had throughout his career, sure. But also coming off, his best season, signing him now just doesn't make sense to me. If you could sign him and it's like, oh, you're paying him, this would be like you're paying him like a top backup quarterback, sure, because maybe this guy could be your backup one day. But I don't think you're winning a championship with this guy, or there's no future, no vision where this guy does win you a championship. So why would you sign him and pay the big money back up the Brinks truck?
Hell no. I would not. If he has a career year next year, then it's all franchising. So I would franchise him, but there's no way in hell I would sign Bryce Young to a long-term contract. Anyway, speaking of rookie quarterbacks, I think we commented last week about Jackson Dart, and, kind of the cautiousness of watching him play, because he takes off out of the pocket all the time. It takes heavy hits. And guess what? He got concussed last week. He's out. Brian Daboll, the head coach, has been fired from the Giants. So we called that one. That he's too much of a hero out there. I like Jackson Dart. He's been impressive. He had the Giants blow another one, and that's when he left. So we called that in the Giants. Where do you see the Giants right now? What have you seen you like about Jackson Dart?
First of all, I want to mention you did also, I don't know if you reported it, but you did mention his over for the rushing yards last week. Yes, and that was a great call by you. I mean, if you're a Giants fan, you're excited, right? At the end of the day, they've overexceeded expectations, and they've done this even without Neighbors. They're competitive still without Scatabo. So, if you're a Giants fan, you're excited for next year. If your team can come back 100% healthy, you could even be saying, hey, we're fighting for a wild card spot here. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that that's a guarantee. I'm just saying it's in the realm of possibilities. And the future for Giants fans is somewhat bright right now.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Jackson Dart has done a great job, and even surprising in the last few games with Scatabo out and a lot of the injuries that they've had, they've still been very competitive. And in fact, they probably should have beat the Bears last week instead of choking out that lead. Now, the funny part here is your boy. I'm going to call him your boy because we've done this for a couple of years. Russell Wilson comes in to mop up, can't do anything. He's completely done, by the way, just to let you know. And coming into this week, they've decided to say, hey, Russ, don't let it ride. Don't let it ride, Russ. Take a seat on the bench. We want Jameson Winston to kick it off for the Giants here. Russell Wilson has declined, and a lot of people didn't want to see this and just admit that he was toast. But it's safe to say that Russell Wilson is collecting a good chunk of change, but he's not an NFL starting quarterback any further.
No, I completely agree with you. You know what? I stood on that hill, but I was wrong. You were right. Simple as that.
I'll take those, and I'll keep bringing up the topics only where I was right, not wrong. So just want to point that out. And just one quick thing about last week. The Philadelphia-Green Bay matchup on Monday was a bit surprising, 0-0 heading into halftime. But what stood out to me was two teams that were playing some great defensive football, but it really gave me a red flag about the Green Bay Packers. It's not even Jordan Love. It is, there were many opportunities for Green Bay Packer receivers to make big plays, and there was a lot of drop balls. And let's reverse back to Jordan Love's impact. Taking penalties, it didn't look like they were in sync, and there's a red flag to me about this Green Bay Packer offense. And then take out Tucker Kraft. I don't think the NFL community, not the NFL, maybe the general fan didn't really take in the impact that he had and was having on that Green Bay offense. So I'm a little concerned about the Packers. And again, it was just a matter of the Eagles' big catches at the right times late in that ball game that were the difference to walk away with the victory. So Green Bay, red flag to me. What are your thoughts on Green Bay?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't know if you'd agree, but if it's something as simple as drop balls, I do look at that as an easy-ish fix. And I believe in Green Bay's defense. They got the best player. They already had a good defense last year, and then they added Micah Parsons this year. Best defensive player in football, debatably. He went for a lot. So I still think Green Bay's a legit team, and I think this is kind of when you jump on the bandwagon. Maybe you're looking at their spreads because you get a little value there after this. And you know what? Best team in football. I'm pretty sure they held the Eagles 17? Is that correct?
No, it was 10-7.
10-7. Oh, so they held them to 10. Like to hold the Eagles to 10. Listen, I know you lost, but that is a great defensive showing to maybe a top 3, top 5 offense in the NFL. So you know what? I think there's still a lot of optimism to be had for Green Bay. Green Bay is one of the top teams in the NFL, in my opinion. Probably top 5, somewhere there. So I'm not worried about Green Bay. Catch those balls. Green Bay is good enough to score more than 7 on the Eagles. This has to be a fluke to me.
Awesome. Yeah. And just before we get to this week's action, the clarification I want to make, a story we talked about last week about Antonio Brown being charged for attempted murder, being arrested in Dubai. Until I absorbed the whole story, the incident that he's arrested for did take place in the U.S. He had been located in Dubai. That's why he was arrested in Dubai and brought back. So I just want to clarify the incident of the shooting, the attempted murder that he has pleaded innocent, did not take place in Dubai, but in the U.S., and he was arrested in Dubai. Just want to clarify that. And Thursday night, not really a showstopper to stop what you're doing and watch, and that is the Jets in New England to take on the new phenom, Drake May, and the Mike Vrabel New England Patriots win 27-14. Now, what the story is the last 2 weeks, and one of my fantasy football teams' thanks, is Travion Henderson. He's gotten 5 touchdowns in the last 2 games. Had 3 touchdowns, two rushing and 1 receiving on Thursday night. This is the NFL in a nutshell. When Travion Henderson, a rookie out of Ohio State, he was an impact player with the Buckeyes. So it was surprising to me he had a slow start with the Patriots, but with what's his name out, running back Stevenson, Ramondre Stevenson out, it provides more touches for Travion Henderson, and he goes into Tampa Bay and breaks out 2 long rushing touchdowns. Now he's a focal point of the offense, and he's excelling. And he's a major factor in that offense, along with Drake May. It's amazing how the NFL works, because if Ramondre Stevenson's not injured, he doesn't get the carries, and he doesn't break out, and is now not the guy. And we've seen the same thing in Carolina with what's his name? I can't remember his name. Former Cowboy running back Dewey, or what his name? What's his name in Carolina?
Rico Dowdle.
Yeah. Rico Dowdle.
Yeah.
So that was because of an injury, right? That he got his opportunity. Yeah. So just Travion Henderson is on fire. I think he brought up 29 or 30 fantasy points. He's outstanding. Wow. It's just amazing. Yeah. And if he's going, man, the Patriots are on the move. So are the Patriots real? I think that's the question we talked about before the podcast. I think the hype's a little too much. Let's see what happens. I've seen this before with Justin Herbert's a great quarterback. No, there's no question. But there was more hype, and then you get to the playoffs, and then the hype gets toned down. I think people need to tone down the hype. I think Drake May's doing great, but let's just chill out. What are your thoughts?
I will say, if you're a Patriots fan, though, I completely understand why you're excited.
I was taking a sip of coffee. Is there anything to add to that so I can take my sip?
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, real or not real, this is right now one of the most entertaining teams to watch in football. Travion Henderson, having that running back in fantasy on a top 5 offense, you're going to want that guy. And in football, all you need is one opportunity to prove yourself. And sometimes it's hard to put that, what's the saying? Put that cat back in the box.
Put the cat back in the box?
I think that's the saying.
I don't know if that's the saying. I don't know if that is. Anyway, we'll have to AI that and ChatGPT it to see if that is the saying, but we'll come back to that later. Again. So we move on to Week 11 in the NFL. We're already at Week 11. Can you believe we're already that far into the season?
Football goes way too fast.
It does.
It's crazy.
It does. And we're going to kick it off in Spain. Español, the Washington Commanders take on the Miami Dolphins. That was a terrible accent. Anyway, this one's going to be an early one. This one's in Madrid, Spain, where the Real Madrid soccer club plays. Amazing stadium. If you haven't checked it out, check out this stadium. It's fairly new, and the technology where they put the grass surface of the soccer field, they can flip it over and put it underneath and bring up the turf field that they're most likely to be using for this football game. The Washington Commanders come into this game on the road. Both teams are on the road, but they're the away team as 2.5-point underdogs. Jaden Daniels out. Terry McLaurin out. Marcus Mariota will start once again for the Washington Commanders. Miami coming off a big win against Buffalo. 2.5-point favorites. 47.5 is the over-under. I like Washington to cover because I believe every time Miami comes up with something positive, they fall down. And this is another situation where I think they'll fall down, despite, even Jaden Daniels being out. Washington gets it done. Miami's a mess. So that's my play here. And I'm also going to take the under 47.5. What do you say?
Honestly, no joke. This might sound crazy to you. I think Miami's going to crush Washington. No joke. I mean, at the end of the day, the Dolphins still have, two big weapons, Waddle and A-Chain. And A-Chain especially, A-Chain may be, top 1, top 2, top 3 most talented running backs in football. And, Washington's known right now to be the worst defense. So I think that, Miami, even though, they kind of are losers, Miami has always been known to beat up on the weak teams and get crushed by the good ones. So I think this week, I'm not really going to bet it, but I'll take the over just because of what I said there, where I think Washington will be dominated. But give me Miami all day. That's a slam.
Okay, what about the over-under 47.5?
I don't recommend you bet it, but just for the purpose of this podcast, I'll say the over just because for some reason I think Miami can put up 30 here.
Yeah, I'm going to say that Washington's D hasn't been anything to write home about. Have not been lights out, but Dan Quinn is still the head coach of the Commanders, defensive minded. I think that the Miami Dolphins offense hinges on timing. Tua goes back in the pocket. He's throwing the ball, expecting his receiver to be in a certain spot. It has to be too perfect. Okay, that's the offense that they run. And anytime they're out of sync, it looks very bad. And I think Dan Quinn at least will influence that timing situation. And I think that will result in the Commanders winning. But we see things different. That's fine. That's fine.
Also, just a little Miami Dolphins news. Did you hear the story about Tyreek Hill?
I can't wait. Go ahead. I did not hear the story.
So Tyreek Hill recently changed his Instagram motto or slogan or description, whatever, to unemployed. And then it came out that apparently, Miami is thinking about releasing him in the offseason. And not only that, but Tyreek Hill is thinking about, pursuing his DJ career under the DJ named Cheetah. So it's just, one of the greatest wide receivers of the last 10 years, may be retired from football. But we'll see what happens there.
Imagine I said I quit my job to go pursue my DJ career. Like that's
but,
outstanding.
Maybe his legs are done. Like I don't know the extent of his injury. That's the thing, right? Or does he want to be traded? I don't know.
Okay, like these are up and down, man. Like because he was I swear I seen a clip of he was either his podcast or podcast he was on talking about things in a positive light with Tua, and he seemed like he was all in. But in
Yeah.
reality, the Miami Dolphins are not going anywhere where you would like. I don't think it would make sense to keep a Tyreek Hill. So let's hope if it is in the cards that he's going to continue his football career, that he needs. And I said this before the injury, he needs to be a hired gun, right? If he still has the speed after this injury and as he gets another year older, he needs to be signed. He's in that time of his career where he's signing 1-year contracts, maybe showing up in week 8. You know what I mean? He's not a full blown receiver for a Chiefs team or a Bills team or a Rams team that he joins or a Ravens team. He's a hired gun. He's the second guy or third guy if he has what he has. But the days of the Dolphins are done. So I don't give a shit if he's a DJ or not, but his days in Miami should be done, and Miami should be looking for other options.
Yeah. Even though I think Miami will gash this week, I completely agree with you where I think Miami's done. It just looks like a mess there.
Yeah. So we have Green Bay coming off the Monday night loss. We talked about that. Heading into New York. They were heading in as 7-point favorites. It's bumped up to 7.5. So they are now 7.5-point favorites. And by the way, for our audience out there, we have no association with FanDuel, but those are the lines I'm using right now. And I can't scream at the top of the mountain enough, but you should have multiple books for choices that if you like, when we talk about this game, for example, if you like the Giants, then you would want a book that has 8 potentially, or maybe you like the Packers and you want that book that is potentially still at 7. So that's just a little tip we're going to give you from the Green Bay perspective. Matt Golden is questionable, wide receiver. Obviously for the Giants, we talked about this earlier. Jackson Dart is out. Darius Slayton is out. He had a big game last week. He's out. And Jameson Winston is in. Russell Wilson is on the bench. So this game is also 43.5. Like I said, it moved up from 7 to 7.5. So the bettors out there like Green Bay. What do you say?
I also, sorry, what was the spread?
7.5.
Oh, sorry, 7.5. Yeah, to go from 7 to 7.5 actually, like, it kills you, right? And but I will take Green Bay just because I did say I think they'll make a comeback in a big way after last week's loss, only putting up 7. But 7.5's tough, you know. But still, give me 7.5. What was the over and under there? I apologize.
The over-under moved up from 42.5 to 43.5. I say under, but what do you say?
Yeah. I was going to say it's a low-scoring game, but because the total is only 43, I'll say the over.
Over, easy. Okay, all right. So we got that. Now, we've seen this story so many times with Jameson Winston. He's going to come in the first half. He's going to start throwing darts. Telling you right now, he's going to look like the second coming of like Joe Montana out there. He's going to start throwing darts. People are going to question, hey, Jameson Winston's a veteran quarterback. He's got a gun. And then slowly at the end of the first half, heading into the second half, as you know it, he's going to start making some fucked up decisions. He's going to make some throws he shouldn't make. And then you realize, oh yeah, I forgot. That's why he's the third guy. That's why he's on the bench. Jameson Winston, he looked like he had some potential. And then, he just loses his mind out there. So we're going to see that show again. So I agree with you, Green Bay. We'll cover 7.5. I just think it will be a lower scoring game.
One thing I'll say about James Winston in this spot, I would say this is the least, like obviously they're very beat up, but this is the least talented team that he's ever stepped in for. So it'll be interesting to see what he's able to do here. Like even Slayton, Slayton was kind of that next guy up, but everyone knows he can rise to the occasion. And now you're telling me he's even out. That's going to be trouble.
It's trouble, big time.
Yeah.
All right, so we have Carolina, Atlanta. Again, I don't know how many people are going to lock in on this game other than just watch it on Red Zone, but the Atlanta Falcons are 3.5-point favorites at home. The over-under shifted from 42.5 to 41.5. I'm going to say I think Atlanta seeks revenge here after getting embarrassed by the Carolina Panthers on the road. Was it 30-0? I think it was. It finished where the Falcons lost and got just destroyed. I think they cover easy. I think they lay the boots to the Panthers, and I think this game goes over 41.5. And just to throw a prop out there, I looked at Bijan Robinson's 72.5 rushing yards. If you're Atlanta, you got to go with the talent that works. Penix has struggled, and I think you put the rock in Bijan's hands and let him ride.
Yeah.
So that's my thought. Over 72.5 rushing yards. I take Atlanta to cover the 3.5. Over 41.5. Balls in your court.
You know, this is going to sound crazy.
Here we go, man.
Because last week I was completely against the Panthers. And here's the thing. I do think Atlanta wins. But in my head, for some reason, I think it's one of those times where Carolina comes back and they don't win the game, but they come close. And I think it's going to be within 3. So, I'm going to say I probably wouldn't bet it because I think it's going to be a razor-tight win from Atlanta. But you know what? It's crazy to say. Give me Carolina plus 3.5. This is a tough pick for me, but it's kind of a fun pick too. So, give me Carolina plus 3.5.
What a shit pick this is. Okay. Anyway, what about the over/under? 41 and a half.
What is that total?
41 and a half. It moved down from 42 and a half to 41. Oh, you feel very confident on that one.
Yeah, that's probably a more confident pick than the Panthers for me.
All right, I'm not going to spend too much time in this Carolina game. Anyway,
that
we're going to move on.
Really low, am I? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, I can't. Hey, the sharps out there, man. That's what they say. Chargers head into Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. The Chargers were 2.5-point favorites. Now it's at 3. So the betting community liked and hammered the 2.5 and moved it up to 3. The over/under is 43.5. Chargers. Let's see the injury report. Keep an eye on Brian Thomas Jr. He's questionable, so I don't have a read on him right now if he's going to play wide receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'll let you start off. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, sorry. I don't know why I'm blanking. Jacksonville versus
the Chargers head into Jacksonville.
Chargers, yes.
It feels like the Chargers have been like flying across country many weeks to take on Eastern time zones, but that's the Chargers are in Jacksonville.
Yeah. Give me the Chargers. I think I kind of think the Chargers could be a legitimate team. I know they've had their struggles this year where they had the extremely hot start and then they kind of faltered out. But I think they kind of, they can end the season in a respectable way, winning more than they lose. Give me the Chargers all day.
All right, so you got the Chargers. I also agree with the Chargers, and I think this game's going to fly over the 43.5. What do you think about the over/under?
Give me over 43.5 too. I feel like I'm seeing a lot of low totals here today. That seems like an easy one as well.
Okay, and then just want to shout out because I looked at my piss poor record last week, and I took the Jaguars plus 1.5 against Houston, and it's so disgusting how the Jaguars got pumped in the fourth quarter by the Houston Mills. David Mills,
hey,
led the comeback.
Yeah.
You did call that one, so you shout out to you, but here's what it is. They were plus 1.5. They had that game covered despite blowing the lead. And the last play of the game, strip fumble return for a touchdown. How many times in betting has it been that strip fumble, no time on the clock, and you get a guy kneeling? They're just diving on the ball to kill the clock. And then if you're on the other side, you get a block kick like against the Rams when the Eagles ran it back. You get this situation. So that the cover was based on a play that shouldn't have happened. Like just a low percentage
that's
play.
Crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. Like, you know what? At the end of the day, if they kneel and you lose your bet, you don't feel bad about it because that's what they're supposed to do. But when it's the other way around, man, it feels like a kick to the teeth.
Yeah, it does. And there's other places you feel kicked. It's not good. All right, so the Cincinnati Bengals divisional matchup here, head into Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. The Steelers are 5.5-point favorites. This game is at a 49.5. A big, you wouldn't think the Steelers would be if you looked in the last few years, up to 49.5. Like that tells you about the thoughts on their D. Trey Hendrickson's out for the Bengals. Shamar Stewart, first-round defensive end, is out for the Bengals. Does it really matter? I mean, the Bengals' defense is so horrid that I don't care who's on the side because they give up points. That's just the way it is. But I will take the Bengals to cover the 5.5 here. This is the first time where I felt Aaron Rodgers looked old against the Chargers last Sunday night. He looked, and somebody made a comment on, I was just driving to the car and listening on the radio, and I was like, yeah, that's exactly it. This is the first time where I seen him hesitate many times for a half a second, where it caused him to take sacks, where you never seen this before from Aaron Rodgers. It was usually a quick decision, get rid of the ball, or throw the ball away, or take off out of the pocket. He's hesitating, and he looked old against the Chargers. So I like the Bengals to cover. I don't know why, but anytime with the Bengals, I can't take an under, so I'll take the over 49.5. What do you think?
So here's the thing with the Steelers. I think they're one of those teams, like I think they're the team when it comes to road versus home. When the Steelers are at home, for some reason, I view them as a whole different monster than on the road. On the road, I feel like anyone can beat them, and at home, I feel like they can beat anybody. You know what I mean? So, I'm gonna 49 seems really high to me, but I do see what you're saying. And also, Pittsburgh's defense has had its big struggles this year. So I guess I'll take the over hesitantly, and I'll take the Steelers beating the Bengals and covering.
All right, so we're on opposite sides there. I also like, because I feel Cincinnati's just a shit show, and they just Joey Flacco's just jacking the ball up. I like Jamar Chase's receiving yards to surpass 95 or more, so it's over 94.5. Give me that over. I'm taking that prop. What do you think of that?
I'm okay with it.
Okay. As long as you're okay with it, then I'm okay with it. There you go.
Sounds good.
All right, and we move on to maybe, just maybe, the game of the day at 1 o'clock, and that is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers head into Buffalo. Both teams coming off a loss. Big game. Your boy Baker, you got your. Can you show us your in the background there? Your Tampa Baker Mayfield curtains. There you go. That's in support of Baker. Look at the spread here. The Buccaneers are 5.5-point dogs.
Yeah.
In Buffalo, and the over under is 48.5. It moved up from 47.5. So I'm going to say I'm going to ride the Baker train. Right. I'm going to ride the Baker train. I'm going to say they're going to cover the 5.5. There's nothing necessarily impressive about the Bills at the moment. Dalton Kincaid is out for the Bills.
Yep.
He is out. And, of course, for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you have Bucky Irving. Irving is still out after a lengthy injury. And I like this game to go over. So I like the Bucs to cover. I like this game to go over. And you tell me if you like this prop. I love it. And I think there's real value in here. I'm going to put this out as the value play of the day, because I think this is going to be an absolute shootout. Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, combined passing yards, 500 plus 250. Plus 250. I think there's going to be there's going to be some balls in the air. I mean, footballs. Anyway, what do you think about this game? I just want to repeat: Tampa Bay 5.5 underdogs.
Yep.
And then the over under is 48.5.
Yeah. Love your bet there, but I gotta say I'm going head to head with you. As much as I love the Buccaneers, they're beat up. They're very beat up, and the Bills coming off that loss. I think it's like a crush spot. I really do. I think the Bills win. Nothing crazy, but I think the Bills win by 10 here.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Why don't you rip down those Tampa Bay, those Buccaneer drapes then? How about that?
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I hope the Bucs win, but this is for our listeners winning some money, so I gotta go with where my heart takes me on that one. Sorry, the over under.
The over under is 48.5. It moved up from 40. My apologies.
Give me it over.
Hold on, let me just double check that over under.
Sorry. My bad.
My penmanship is not where it used to be, so I can't tell if it's 46.5 or. Okay, 1 second. Please hold. Don't mind.
No problem.
Just maybe sing the Buffalo, go Buffalo.
If it is 46, that's got me very fired up. But 48, I'd still take the over.
Okay, so let's go for the latest here. 46.5. So my apologies.
Wow.
It's down to 46.5. I made a mistake.
Then you know what? Just hammer that. Those couple extra points. That's pretty big.
Yeah, I like that game to go over. Okay. This is a weird one. I'm trying to think. I know C.J. Stroud's out, but Houston heads into Tennessee to take on the horrible Tennessee Titans. It opened up as a 7-point line in favor of the Houston Texans. Now it's down to 5.5. We had a 1.5 shift over the last couple days. CJ Stroud was out. Yeah, sorry, he was ruled out again. So we'll have Mills back in there. David Mills, who led a huge comeback and obviously has got the reps and is moving that offense. I'd have no idea outside of that why this line moved down. And so we have Stroud out, David Mills in. You have Calvin Ridley questionable. Looks like he may he may play for the Tennessee Titans. I like the Texans to cover this. Tennessee is absolutely junk, and this game is has a line of 37.5 down from 38.5. I'll take the over. And David Mills passing yard is 211.5. I'm going to take the over. I think it's too low. I think he feels very comfortable in this offense. So what do you think?
Yeah. The passing, like I feel like those yards, I feel like I expect kind of to be right around there. But I do agree with you that I think even without CJ Stroud, they get this game done and they crush. So give me them all the way. And the over was 48.
The over was 37.5.
37. Holy shit. Oh, give me the over. The totals seem extremely low today. It's kind of got me fired up. I'm usually not a totals guy, but to see all these low totals, I feel like every week I'm usually seeing the opposite here. So
would you say you're now a totals guy or just a totals guy in week 11?
Just for week 11.
Okay, so we're not going to put you in the category of being a totals guy.
No.
Okay, so we're not there yet. Okay. Maybe the game of the 4 o'clock hour. 2 heavyweights. The Seattle Seahawks head to L.A. in SoFi Stadium to take on the Los Angeles Rams. And I'm assuming because they're at home, the Rams are 3-point favorites is probably the differentiator here. And the over-under is 48.5. Devontae Adams, though, is questionable. He does have a line, so he does have props out there. So I don't know if he will actually play. Excuse me. And then how healthy really he is. So this is a heavyweight matchup here. And they got the same records, and they're going head-to-head for the lead in the division. This is a wild, wild matchup. What do you see here?
Honestly, these are two of the best teams in football, and I actually think that Seattle gets it done, especially giving them the points too. I'm a big Sam Darnold guy, and he always continues to impress me. He always continues to impress me, and I think he gets it done against the Rams.
When you say you're a big Sam Darnold guy, it's almost like you're saying, "Hey, I'm a big fillet of fish guy at McDonald's." Yeah. It's like what? Man,
I'm telling you, he's good. Like, you know what? Here's a perfect example. Look at Justin Jefferson last year compared to now. In fantasy, Justin Jefferson is the 30th wide receiver now, where he was like a top 3 guy under Sam Darnold. I think they made a terrible mistake getting rid of him. They went from Were the Vikings not the number 1 seed last year?
No, they were not.
Are you sure?
Yes, because they lost.
They were top seed. Did they win the division?
No, because they lost the division last week to the Detroit Lions.
Oh, damn.
Come on, man.
Okay, never mind. All right, don't trust me. This is why you're carrying the show.
This is why we're not. I'm not doing a podcast with ChatGPT over here.
But I do want to say, I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams win. The Rams have one of the best receiving cores in football. Goff is looking like an MVP candidate. I think I heard a stat.
Hold on a second.
Sorry.
Let's go back up. We're talking about Seattle, the Los Angeles Rams, and you're bringing up Jared Goff.
Sorry, Goff. I keep getting Stafford and Goff mixed up. I did the same thing last week.
All right. I just got to make sure
Stafford.
that we got the right information. Okay.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, and this is a stat I'm pulling out of my mind here, but I'm pretty sure he went 3 weeks in a row with 4 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, if I'm not mistaken. And apparently that's the first time it's been done since like the year 2000 or something like that. And that's a crazy stat. I don't know. Are you searching it right now to see if that's correct?
I'm gonna look at Matthew Stafford's game lines here. Let me just take a look.
I think last week before he put up 4 touchdowns, I was mentioning, and obviously it was a mistake on the wrong team, but I was mentioning how couldn't he be the MVP candidate? He should be the clear candidate, Matthew Stafford.
Well, let's look at it. Last week, they torched the 49ers. He had 280 passing yards, 4 touchdown passes.
Yeah.
Week earlier against New Orleans, he also had 281, 4 touchdown passes.
Yeah. 0 hits, right?
At Jacksonville the week the third game ago, he had 5 touchdown passes. So he's on fire. INT's nothing.
No one's done that for 25 years.
Yeah, he hasn't had an INT since September 21st against the Eagles.
He put him down for MVP right now.
Wow.
How do you me and you last week were talking about, where's the standout? Where's the standout? And truthfully, there was a standout right in front of our eyes, and we weren't looking at him. That this is the guy for MVP.
He's the guy. Well,
yeah.
The betting community
you take him away from the Rams, they're not the same team. They're like, I know they still got a lot of talent, but he's the man.
Yeah, well, if you look at the betting odds right now, last week when we talked, Josh Allen was the guy. He was the leader in the clubhouse, to favorite on to win MVP. He is now 5th in the odds on FanDuel, which is 1 week. He's now plus 750 to be the MVP. I think that ship has sailed for him. Drake May is number 1, plus 230. Drake May is number 1. And then Matthew Stafford is number 2 at plus 240. So I think Matthew Stafford, with a big win against Seattle, will probably creep ahead. Will creep ahead. So I think you're right.
He won't get that win.
Ooh. Whoa. Jonathan Taylor is up to number 3. And he's plus 650 to win the MVP. And if he continues to have 200-plus total yard games, it's hard to argue that Jonathan Taylor should not be in the conversation at the end of the year.
I agree, but when it comes to betting and putting your money down, I always feel like the NFL is hesitant to give it to a position that's not quarterback. But, I mean, that's just me. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it just seems like something so rare. But I agree with you.
All right, so you got Seattle. I'm going to take the Rams at -3. I think they get the job done. And I like the over 48.5. What do you think on the over-under side?
Yeah, I'm not confident in this pick, but I'll take the over here.
All right, so we move on to an interesting matchup, and we have the San Francisco 49ers heading into Arizona. The 49ers were 2.5-point favorites, now up to 3. The over-under is 48.5. Here's the big news here. Brock Purdy is back, and he'll be starting for the 49ers. And I don't know if this is a good move by the 49ers. Mac Jones has been outstanding. He's been outstanding. The guy just came off a 300-yard game in a loss, I know, against the Rams. But the 49ers could not stop the Rams. It had nothing to do with Mac Jones. He was 33, he threw 39 times and completed 33 passes. And you're going to sit Mac Jones down for Brock Purdy, who I don't know if he's 100%. I get it, I guess, but I think they're a little hesitant that Mac Jones is not starting here. So I'm going to be on the Cardinal side, even though they got pasted by the Seahawks.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take the Seahawks to cover here.
Yeah. Or sorry, Cardinals to cover?
Yeah, the Seahawks are not playing in this game, so you're right. The Cardinals to cover. Sorry.
Yeah. I think the 49ers, I think they get it done. I don't think they're necessarily a top team, but they're a legit team. And, coming off that loss to one of the top teams, I think they come back and establish themselves as kind of like a second tier team. You know what I'm saying?
I'm switching my pick. I just can't. You're right. I can't
really?
take the Cardinals. Yeah, I can't do it. I just I felt like
the Cardinals against the 49ers. It's like the 49ers just got that quality. It's I don't know. There's something about the 49ers. Even if they're not like a top team, it's like I respect them. They're not like the Carolina Panthers where it's like, oh, I'm expecting bullshit to happen all the time. I'm expecting the 49ers to get the job done.
Yeah, I made this pick. I thought the Cardinals last night, and after a good night's sleep, I've come to my senses and have now moved on to the 49ers. So I'm not backing my train to Jacoby Brissett. Sorry.
I'm glad you're on the right side.
Right. So 48.5, I think under. I don't see 49, 50 points scored in this game, so I'm going to say the under. What do you think here?
Give me the under too. That seems quite high, and if I'm not mistaken, that might be my first under of the day.
Ooh. I think you might be right.
I think
Yep.
it is. I think
Yep.
it is.
Yeah, it's like, man, you're not a
Hey,
totals guy.
it's the overrated experience, not the underrated experience.
That you got to quote me on that. All right, that's just
Yeah.
bullshit. All right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Kyle 2023. I don't know when you
that's
started
right.
the pod.
So, arguably, maybe challenge for the game of the day. We have Kansas City heading into Denver. We got a solid 4 o'clock hour here. This is actually pretty
Yeah.
solid. We have the Kansas City Chiefs. I think I missed a game. I'll have to come back. Yeah, I'll have to come back to this. I missed a game.
Okay.
Kansas City, 3.5 point favorites heading into Denver to take on the Broncos. We have the over/under is 44.5. Latest news here for the Broncos. This is a big hit. J.K. Dobbins is out, running back for the Broncos, and he might be out for a while, and that's a big hit.
Yeah.
But we do have Pacheco on the Kansas City side out again. Now, this should probably lead to more volume for Harvey, the rookie running back, which I have him in one of my fantasy teams. Might have that Travion Henderson kind of luck to it. So, what are your thoughts here?
Well, I gotta say, like Kansas City, if I'm not mistaken, the record's like 5-4, 6-4, something like that. But like it just seems like one of those spots where Kansas City has to win, and in those kind of spots, I'm never taking another team. You know, I think Kansas City, although I admit like Denver's a respectable team, I think Kansas City should crush them. Like not crush them necessarily, but like handle them.
5-4 Chiefs.
Yes, for the Chiefs. Yeah, I'm not scared. I'm not scared of any defense when you got Mahomes. I understand he hasn't had the greatest year, but this team's gonna do enough to get into the playoffs. You can't tell me they're not gonna make it to the playoffs. That's all they got to do. That's all they are expected to do in a way. They don't got to make it fancy, and I think they get it done here. Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, you're talking about an 8-2 Broncos team against a 5-4 Kansas City team, but like you said, you throw that out the window when we're talking about Mahomes. I think this is a one-score game. I think it comes down to a last-second field goal, so I'm going to take the Broncos to cover the 3.5. I think there'll be some points scored, 44.5. I say this hesitantly because the Broncos' offense has kind of been up and down. I mean, they've had explosive quarters, but the consistency has not been there. But I got to believe that this particular game that they build for the entire season for these matchups against Kansas City are going to be when this offense shines. So give me the Denver Broncos to cover. I'm not going to say they're going to win, but I think it's going to be down to a field goal. And I'm going to think there's going to be points, like I said, 44.5. I'll take the over. What do you think about the over?
Give me the over as well.
Oh my God, man. 1 under. Like, geez.
1 under. You're not proud of me?
I'm not proud of you. I don't know. I think it's a little gung-ho. Anyway. All right. I'm trying to think of anything else about this game. Nothing much else to speak about the game, but we have a weird 4-o'clocker. Baltimore and Cleveland. That's in the 4 o'clock window. That's usually at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, I guess. I don't know why, but the Ravens are 7.5-point favorites. They were 8.5-point favorites. Over/under is 38.5 in Cleveland. I like the Baltimore Ravens to cover despite their traditional slow starts since Lamar's come back. But they usually pull away at the end. And the Cleveland Browns are just blah. Like, I mean, special teams torched them last week, giving up kick returns and punt returns. Their offense is not explosive enough, I think, to keep up with Baltimore. And Baltimore is going to pull away. It's going to force mistakes on the Cleveland side. And Baltimore were short field. So I think the Ravens get the job done, cover the 7.5.
Yep.
And I think the game goes over 38.5, even though the total went down from 39 to 38.5. Yep. So that's my play on this.
Give me the Ravens. You know how I feel about them. If you guys listened to last week, I think they're going to, dominate the rest of the way through. But believe it or not, despite only being 38.5, and I've been hammering the overs all day, I'm actually going to take the under on this one, just because I struggle to believe that the Browns can even put up 10. I think if they put up 10, they have a win. And I think Baltimore, the Browns don't have a pushover defense. I think Baltimore puts up like 21, 24. 24, and then Cleveland's lucky to put up 10. So give me the under and give me Baltimore minus 7.5. I mentioned last week I hate contradicting my bets in a way. You're predicting the Ravens to win by 7.5 points, and you're still kind of targeting the under. It's kind of a bad strategy in my opinion, but I got to look at them as more as two separate bets opposed to a parlay or something like that. So give it to me there.
All right, you got it. And we're going to go back a step here. So I missed a matchup. The Chicago Bears are in Minnesota to take on the Vikings. This is a big matchup for this division. 2.5 is the line for the Minnesota Vikings. They're the favorite here. Field goal difference. 47.5 is the over-under. I like the Vikings to win this game. It's my opinion. I think the home field advantage. I'm not sold on the Bears just yet, despite their recent run, but it's been kind of wild the way they've won. I just don't think they'll go into Minnesota and win, so I'll take the Vikings to cover the 2.5. And I think this game will be a high-scoring 47.5. I'll take that. So what do you think about this matchup?
Give me the Bears all day.
All day?
Yes, all day. Listen, I know the Bears have a weak defense, but they're one of the best offenses in football right now.
Oh my God.
And when you're the Minnesota Vikings and a guy like Justin Jefferson isn't producing, you got some serious problems. All right, you got some serious problems. And then on literally the other side, the Bears are, they're just crushing. They're just putting up points over and over. And I don't think the Vikings can keep up. I think the Bears get this done. And I apologize again for asking, but what was the total for this game?
Total is 47.5.
I don't think the Vikings take advantage of the Bears' poor defense. I'm not saying they can't put up 21, but that's not enough against the Bears. But give me the over. Give me the over. Give me the Bears.
But you do question J.J. McCarthy's talent, quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. You question it.
Yeah, I mean, yes. How is Justin Jefferson the 30th ranked? And I know it's fantasy, but it's those are the yards, those are the touchdowns, right? And in fantasy right now, Addison can't even be used. He's basically a drop. This team is going nowhere, and the Bears are on the rise. Give me the Bears all day.
I gotta say, Carson Wentz is one of the reasons why these guys went down. JJ McCarthy only came back, 2 games ago against the Lions and then the Ravens. Give him some props, man. Your disrespect of JJ McCarthy is rather alarming.
Listen, when you go from a guy like Sam Darnold.
Oh my God, Sam Darnold, the fillet of fish of menus of quarterbacks.
Come on.
Holy shit, fillet of fish. Can I get
I'm going to say is
you want a Big Mac? You want a fillet of? Can I get a fillet of fish, please? Here, that's your Sam Darnold.
Make that fillet of fish 2 patties. Let's go.
Let's go 2 patty fillet of fish, Sam Darnold. Okay. The fillet of fish is for a Friday. It never shows up on a Sunday, and that's kind of Sam Darnold when the chips are down.
No. Hey, whoa.
Well,
people. What is it? Isn't it like true Catholics or whatever? Don't eat meat on Sunday or something like that.
It's Fridays.
Okay. Is it? Oh, it's Fridays. Oh, that was your joke.
That's why that offer is there on Fridays. You usually find a fillet of fish special on a Friday.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
All right, so huge matchup here. Absolute great game. If you were heading out and had a Monday off, the Detroit Lions head into Philadelphia, take on the Eagles. The Lions are 2.5-point dogs. 46.5 is the over-under. Sam Laporta is out for the Lions, tight end. That's kind of the injury news in this game. But the Lions, I'm going to take the Lions, man. The Eagles have not been pumping points out and moving the ball. Barkley, Saquon has not been as dominant, not even close to being as dominant as he was a season ago. I think the Eagles could get it done, but let me take the Lions on this one. So I'll take the 2.5. I'll take the over 46.5. What are your thoughts here?
That's a hard one. This is a very, very hard one to predict. But give me the Eagles. Eagles are at home, right?
Yes.
Give me the Eagles at home. For some reason, I have a weird feeling this will be an A.J. Brown game. I know he had a terrible game last week. A.J. Brown. Yeah, and I know there's a lot of drama revolving him once again. I don't know if you've seen his live stream on Madden, Did you see that?
I just know he made comments, but go ahead.
Yeah, he like I'm pretty sure. Like I said, this is kind of going off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure this is the story here. He's on Madden, and I guess he's playing as the Eagles or something like that, and he's targeting himself in the game, and apparently he tells his son like, hey son, this is the only time where you're gonna see me putting up numbers or something like that, and it's just stupid because listen, this team is winning. Be a team player, man. You know what I mean? But like I've seen it in the past where AJ Brown, he becomes a crybaby, but it actually benefits him because it seems like the team will in these instances less this year, but it seems like the will go to him after these shit fits that he has. So I think AJ Brown has a big game here. I don't necessarily know why. Call it a feeling. And I think the Eagles win, even though it's a slim margin, but maybe by about a touchdown, 6, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what about the over-under, 46.5?
Give me the over. Give me the over. The Lions and give me the over. Give me the
Okay.
over. That's a hard one. That's one of my harder picks on the day, but yeah, taking that.
I like also Jahmyr Gibbs receiving and rushing yards to go over 88.5, minus 110, 112. I think he has to be a big part of this offense for the Lions. The Eagles did put a lot of pressure on Jordan Love last week. I think that won't change here. And I think there'll be a lot of dump offs to Gibbs. And I think there'll be a few times where he breaks out a long screen pass for a lot of yards. I think for a talented guy like that, 88.5 total yards to me is way too. I don't care who they're playing. I'll back Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, I agree. I like that bet. Good find there.
And then AJ Brown, he's not going to be there next year. There's no way you're gonna see some either in the draft that they trade him away for draft capital and draft another receiver, a talented receiver. There's no shortage of talent coming out of the college football. So I think he's more of a headache. These are stupid things to bring up, and he knows what he's doing. It's bringing unwanted attention. It's dumb attention, piss poor attention. He's coming a drama queen, and he's in that stage where his talent is at a peak right now. There's no question that he's a dominant wide receiver, but it's only going to last for so long, and it's going to start dipping down, and then fewer teams are going to invest the time, the money, and the patience with a receiver like that. So he's digging his own grave here. But he's got millions. I don't.
Completely agree.
All right, then we go on to the Monday Nighter. Dallas is heading into Vegas to take on the Raiders, and the Cowboys are 3.5-point favorites. We have, the Cowboys most likely the focus is going to be how are they going to handle coming into a game where one of their teammates have passed away, Marshawn Nealon. It's going to be a tough one. Because it's going to be brought up because it's a focal point game on Monday night. But I still think the Cowboys get it done, 3.5 points. They're kind of in a desperate situation. If they have any thought of playoffs, they cannot go into Vegas and drop against a horrible Vegas Raider team. So give me the Cowboys, cover to 3.5. The Cowboys defense is so horrid. Even Geno Smith might light them up. So I think they'll outscore and go over 50.5.
Yeah. I want to say something from a fantasy perspective. I heard, like I told you guys, I was listening to a little bit of podcasting this week, and I heard something that's really interesting from a fantasy perspective. There's 3 god-awful defenses this year to target. It's the Dallas Cowboys, the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Washington Commanders. Like, just some terrible defenses. And these are the teams, if you're ever streaming, you want to target those 3 teams. I thought... that's actually very important information to have when it comes to streaming. That being said, I actually think the Raiders handle.
What?
I think the Raiders handle Dallas here. The Raiders have been god awful, but I'm not the biggest Geno Smith hater. And Geno Smith is good enough to put points up against Dallas, and not only that, but I think Genty also could have a big game here. That being said, I know Dallas did upgrade their defense. I'm pretty sure it was their defensive line with that guy from the Jets, right?
Yeah.
Quentin
Williamson, yeah.
Quentin Williams, yes.
Williams, whatever, yeah.
So can that be the difference of them stopping the run Even if they do, I think Gino will, light them up. If Genty doesn't, maybe it's one or the two that goes off. But give me the Raiders at home. I think that home field advantage is the difference in this game. If the Cowboys were at home, I'd probably be on the Cowboys with this line. But give me the Raiders. I think Dallas shits the bed here.
Wow, you're really banking your odds that the Raiders are going to come through. They light up the scoreboard in a loss against the Jaguars using Brock Bowers and then only target them 3 times. That is a signal to me that they have no clue what they're doing.
Yeah.
They will not take advantage of, like every other team has, of this piss poor Cowboys defense. I have no faith in Pete Carroll and the Raiders.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what I gotta say about Bowers? I feel like it's been back-to-back weeks where I talk about this team and I don't mention how good Bowers is.
Mm-hmm.
That is the nail. I'm forgetting another saying here.
A nail in the coffin?
Sorry, that's the last nail in the coffin. It's like, I thought Gino could light him up. I thought Genty could light him up. With Bowers as well, against this Cowboys defense, one of these guys is going to light him up. To win, Dallas has to put up like 30 points.
Yes.
That's how it seems like they are every week. And it's like, am I expecting them to put up 30 points this week? They could, but I don't think it's the likelihood. So give me the Raiders.
All right, whatever. I'll give you the Raiders. I'll put the pen with the A beside the Raiders for your name. But over under 50.5. What do you? This is going to be a high scoring game.
I think it's going to be a high scoring game if Dallas wins, but I don't think Dallas wins. So give me the under 51.
Oh man, to close it off, the last game of the week with an underwear under. All right, I think that's pretty skid marks with that underwear.
Oh God.
All right, so we've gone through.
I'm over it. No, that was a bad joke.
So we've gone through the card here today. Any other thoughts, whether it be fantasy football in general, other sports, anything from a betting perspective you want to close us out with?
Honestly, not really. I did want to mention the 3 worst defenses to target, but I just did that a couple minutes ago. That was kind of my one big note I wanted to have for advice for the viewers, if you will. Actually, this is something kind of different. I want to shout out my boys who have been watching the podcast. Daniel, Zach, I see you. All right, you get me fired up to do it again. I know my buddy Zach is like new into football, so maybe these little tidbits will help him out. And I appreciate you guys watching the pod.
So
appreciate all you guys watching, anyone who's watching. But
so when he's new to football, does that mean new to fantasy football or what drew him into wanting to watch football?
So actually, what drew my buddy Zach into watching football, he's a big hockey guy. Never has had any interest in football until this year. We started as a group of friends a $25 keeper league. So I talked to him, and he kind of likes to follow his players. So it's like he had Scatabo going into the year. I know that. So at the beginning of the year, he's like, I'll watch the Giants because Scatabo's playing. He's actually starting to enjoy it based on this keeper league. And, any one of my friends that starts watching football gets me fired up.
Get you fired up. Well, welcome everybody who's joined. Appreciate the listens and keep on listening. And maybe, and just maybe, we'll have more NHL content as the winter goes on and the NFL season winds down. So keep your ears open and keep sharing the podcast, subscribe, whatever platform you're on. The Overrated Experience, like I said earlier, can be found on Overrated EXPER2. That's Overrated EXPER2 for X. So please, even Austin from Ajax needs to join and follow the pod via X. Can you commit to that by the time we log in next week to talk some football action?
There's a chance. There's a chance. But hey, I'm following on Instagram. All right, don't forget the Instagram.
All right, the Instagram at Overrated Experience. Absolutely, for sure. All right. Pleasure's all been yours out there, you listeners that have had the ear pleasure to listen to our football picks this week. They are only our thoughts and opinions of what we would do. This is for fun, so please gamble responsibly. And it's always fun versus it's not for most of us, it's not a career. So let's leave it at that. Austin from Ajax, any final words?
Austin from Ajax, out.
All right, the Overrated Experience is over and out. See you later, everybody. Bye-bye.